Hi, so today we're going to look at tens and ones, and we're going to be investigating what tens and ones actually are. So firstly, I'm going to draw some blocks on the screen, and we're just going to investigate what they are and how we're going to count them. So I'm going to draw some blocks. So these each represent 10. Okay, so these are our tens blocks. Can you count how many I am drawing? How many blocks of 10 am I drawing? Let's count them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So remember, each of these represents 10. So we've got 10 here, 10 here, and also 10 here. And these smaller blocks are going to represent 1. Okay, the smaller blocks are going to simply represent 1. And then we are going to count them all up. Now you might think, oh, that looks a bit tricky, but don't worry, I'm going to help you. Okay, so as we remember correctly, this represents 10. There's another 10, another 10, another 10, and another 10 here. Now, if we had a place value grid for tens, which is going to be represented by a T, and an O, which is going to be represented, and our ones, which is going to be represented as an O. How many tens do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 groups of 10. We have 5 groups of 10. So we've put our 5 under our tens grid. So that 5 represents 50, but we've put 5 in our tens. And then we need to count up our ones. How many ones can you see here on the screen? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 ones. So we're simply going to draw an 8 under our O, which represents ones. So all together, drawn on the screen, we have 58 blocks. We have 58 blocks because we have 5 tens, or 5 groups of tens, and we have 8 ones, which make up 58. Shall we do another one? Are you ready? I'm just going to delete some of these and we're going to do another one. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to leave those on the screen. I'm going to add a few more. So we already have 2 blocks of 10. I'm going to draw a few more. I'm going to draw another 2. Okay. Now, can you remember how many these blocks represent? There's 10 here, 10 here, 10 here, and 10 here. Okay, so each of these long blocks represent 10. Now, what about these smaller blocks? How many do these smaller blocks represent? Can you remember how many these smaller blocks represent? Each of these smaller blocks represent 1. So we're going to count how many we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 smaller blocks. Now, again, we're going to very quickly draw our place value grid. Our tens go over here, represented by a T, and our ones go over here, represented by an O. Now, simply we're going to fill in how many tens we have and how many ones we have. Nice and simple. How many tens? Let's count them up. 1 10, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 tens, which go under the T to represent 40. Now let's count our ones again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to pop our 8 under our O. What number have we wrote? What number have we got here? What number is it? The number 48. Absolutely fantastic. That's how we count in our tens and ones. That's how we count using our tens and ones. Are you ready for another one? Let's just delete a few of these, okay? Can you guess, have a guess, what number we're going to create using our tens and ones next? What number are we going to create? I'm going to draw another 10 here, another one here, and I think we'll do 2 more. There we go. And then, sorry, my 10s are a bit wonky. And then we're going to draw some 1s. So remember, each of these squares represent how many? 1. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to draw our little grid. Can you remember what the T stands for? What does the T stand for? Fabulous. The T stands for tens. What does the O stand for? Do you remember? Great stuff. The O stands for ones. Really, really good. Okay, now let's count up our tens and ones. Remember, each of these long blocks represent how many? 10. Brilliant. Each of the long blocks represent 10. How many tens do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 tens. We have 6 tens. 6 tens make 60. But we also have some ones over here. Should we count them up together as well? We can't forget our ones. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fantastic. So we're going to pop our 4 under our O. Okay? So, all together, how many do we have? What number is this? A 6 and a 4 make 64. Brilliant. Shall we do another one? Come on, let's do another one. You're doing really well. All you have to remember is that the long blocks represent 10 and the smaller blocks represent how many? Brilliant. The smaller blocks just represent 1. Here we go. Let's draw out some tens again. You can count along as I draw them out, and that will hopefully enable you to answer the question even quicker. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go for one more. 9. There we go. We've got 9 blocks of 10. Now we're going to draw some ones. You can try and guess how many you think I'm going to draw. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do one more. 7. Now this time, without our grid, what number would this make? How do we write it down? Let's count our tens again, just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 tens. 9 tens. How many ones? Let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you guessed it, 7. What number do we have? We have 97. Absolutely brilliant. All right, moving on. Really good. I'm going to draw a number. I'm going to write a number on the screen, and I'm going to ask you, grab a piece of paper if you can, and I'm going to ask you to draw out your tens and ones. I'm going to ask you to draw out your tens and ones. So the first number is going to be 51. What would 51 look like if you drew our tens and ones? Let's do another one. What about 64? draw 64 using your tens and ones? What about 30? What would 30 look like if you were drawing using your tens and ones? Shall we draw them together? You can pause the video here if you want to draw them by yourself first, and let's see if we draw the same thing. Here we go. So for 51, here's how I draw my tens and ones. I can see that there are 5 tens and there is 1. So this is how I would draw 51. 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4 tens, and 5 tens. 5 tens. How many ones? Just 1. That's how I would draw 51. Did you draw yours exactly the same? Let's do this one here. What number do we have here? A 6 and a 4. A 6 and a 4 makes 64. Now don't forget, we're not adding 6 and 4. We're just writing the numerals side by side. And when the numerals 6 and 4 are written side by side, it's the number 64. So let's draw our tens and ones. How many tens? How many ones? You can pause the video here if you'd like to have a go at drawing them out first. Let's draw them together. How many tens? We have 6 tens. Let's draw 6 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Easy peasy. How many ones? How many ones? We have 4 ones. Remember, the ones are drawn just as small little blocks. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Super duper. Now we're going to move on to the last one. This number is 30. We have the number 30. We can see that we have 3 tens and no ones. We've got 3 tens and no ones. So this one's easy peasy to draw out. Are you going to draw with me? Remember, you can pause the screen at any time if you want to draw them out first. Here we go. Let's draw 3 tens. 1, 2, 3. Now I have drawn our 3 tens. But what about our ones? How many ones are we going to draw? We're not going to draw any ones at all, because in number 30 it tells us that we have no ones. There are no ones. So that's how we would represent 30 if we're drawing in our tens and ones. Number 51, perfect. Number 64, brilliant. Number 30, lovely. You did really, really well. How about you try these numbers? I'll pop them on the screen and you can try them when you have a moment in your books on a piece of paper. Try drawing 56. What would 56 look like if you're drawing in your tens and ones? What about 71? What would 71 look like if you're drawing using your tens and ones? And how about 60? What would 60 look like if you're drawing using your tens and ones? You did really well today. There's my super duper smiley face as always. Fabulous. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.